Hello. Welcome to Through Imperial Eyes. I'm your host, Braydon leadbetter.
I didn't think you were going to be serious about it.
No, we're going. This is it. This is the show. Well, welcome to the Batch Report. I am your host, Braydon leadbetter.
And I'm your co-host, Jackson Daleen.
And we're doing this unhinged today. We don't have any kind of plan, any kind of things that we want to touch on, and we're just going straight into the episode
today. You could
today.
say we are uncaged like something in this specific episode.
Zing.
Zing.
Well, let's just go right in. So, what are kind of some of your initial reactions, and what's your thoughts on just this episode as a whole?
I had a ton of fun with this, actually.
Me too.
This was very reminiscent of Return of the Jedi, which was fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I liked a lot of the animation looked really good in this one. I really liked the Sid character. I hope we see more of her.
I kind of love Sid.
Yeah, I thought she was fun. It was a very natural. It felt very natural in those scenes with her, just like the dialogue, and whoever that voice actress did a phenomenal job with that character.
Yeah, it's always big obscure alien creatures with like a grandparent's voice that I love. Like you get that with like Dex and then Sid. Yeah.
Yeah, this was a lot of fun, and it would definitely had like big filler episode vibes, but like I still enjoyed it.
Like it kind of is, because I mean it essentially is a side mission.
Not a lot happens. Yeah, not a lot really happens, but it was a good side mission.
It felt like the Boba Fett comic, the War of the Bounty Hunters.
Yeah.
You want this, but if you want to have it, you gotta do something for me, and then you can do that, and then you come back. Oh yeah, it's
quickly speaking about that. I've been reading those those War of the Bounty Hunter comics, and they're very, very good.
There's only about 3 or 4, right?
Well, there's 4 right now, but the last 2 prelude are coming out, and that's the Darth Vader and the Dr. Aphra, and then the War of the Bounty Hunters Alpha 1 will come out.
And then they're going to start kind of intertwining,
and
right?
that's when that's when it just takes off. Right now we're in the prelude stage.
Gotcha. Well, yeah, I think for me this episode, I was expecting to be like, oh, here we go, another side mission episode, but I was actually really entertained, and I love the twist that it was actually a Rancor, Rancor. What was the name? Moochie or something?
Moochie,
Moochie, yeah.
Yeah.
What did you think about Moochie?
I lost it at the idea of that they just had to fight in order to get it, and just Moochie and Wrecker just duking it out until one of them fell. I love the idea that
they were just calling some random kid Moochie, and he was just going with it.
They're like, what? Yeah.
He's just like, oh, I guess my name is Moochie now.
Be like, yes, Moochie, come on, they're going to help us.
Yeah. But yeah, I love the idea that Rancor is like the Rancor from Return of the Jedi.
Well, I looked it up, and apparently the Rancor from Return of the Jedi is called Pativa.
I wonder why they set it up like that's going to be the Rancor. I
think the idea is that that's the Rancor from Return of the Jedi's mom, because Moochie is a girl Rancor, and apparently Pativa is a male Rancor.
Gotcha. Well, because I was thinking, like, if this was the actual Rancor from Return of the Jedi, it would make that scene in Return of the Jedi so sad now, because like we actually
I was thinking that too. It was
kind
like,
of grow to like Moochie, and the fact that Luke Skywalker just slaughters that Rancor just would make it 10 times worse.
Okay, but that leads me to believe that Jabba the Hutt is someone who just goes through Rancors, and I want to know who he has that can just take out Rancors.
Boba Fett.
It's Wrecker. It's Wrecker. That's where the Bad Batch end up. They just hang out with Jabba.
Or maybe it's Fennec, and we'll get to see Fennec Shand take out her Rancor again.
I had an idea, or I guess a theory idea about Bad Batch. I saw this post on Instagram just a minute ago before we hopped on the call, and it was talking about the planet that they're on in the beginning, where Sid is at, or whatever, was the planet where the Black Suns were, and the Black Suns are the gang that Maul took out. That's what the post was it's the scene from Clone Wars where Maul and Savage like show up to the Black Suns, and Savage like throws the double-bladed lightsaber and cuts all their heads off. that eventually becomes Maul's base for the time being. So I wonder if Fennec is working with Maul.
Now that would be cool.
And why
and that would
Maul
that would kind
want
of understand
Omega?
that would kind of allow us to understand why Fennec is being so secretive about, or like no one's really knowing,
like, who is this person. Yeah, and especially because
no one really knows who she's working for. Yeah,
in this episode, Sid says that Fennec is new. Fennec is new to the scene, which kind of eliminates my Palpatine theory, because why would Palpatine use a new bounty hunter? You know.
But also, if that's the case, if it is Maul, what would Maul want to do with Omega?
That's kind of what I'm wondering, is what does Maul know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm also been thinking about they're getting close with Wrecker. Notice how he keeps, like, he had a moment
every
where he was
episode,
like, oh, my
they
head
allude
hurts,
to it
and he
every
keeps
episode.
getting beat up.
I
wonder who it's going to be.
Ending. I think near the latter half of this series, they're going to start having a lot of problems with Wrecker, with his chip going AWOL, and like maybe he does some unforgivable things, and it kind of screws everybody up.
I think what's going to happen is they're going to run into somebody, and it's going to set Wrecker off.
Run into like Ahsoka or something?
Well, I was thinking it's either Maul, it's going to be a Jedi, or it's going to be Rex, because I
Mace
think
Windu, confirmed.
Because I think
Phasma,
that
confirmed.
Captain Phasma. I think because in the end of Clone Wars, like, Rex goes kind of AWOL. So like I bet you in Empire Records he is AWOL. So if people see him, he's like, but
I'm wondering if, because they could do a lot with that Wrecker storyline.
They really can, yeah.
Yeah, if say they do, like, he does activate his inhibitor chip, and they do end up being able to kind of take control of him, the Empire, they could use Wrecker to do a lot of real damage in the Empire. Especially if he's under their control. But,
yeah. And, well, so what do you think that they've been doing with Crosshair? Like, the MRI stuff?
I don't know. It's also been a while since we've seen Crosshair. It's been a good 2 episodes. Was he not in the last episode?
He wasn't in this one, I know, but was he not in the last?
I don't remember him. Do you?
The last time we saw him, I think, was the Saw Gerrera mission.
Yeah, that was the last time we saw like all the Imperials and stuff. So, I don't know.
Yeah. Ooh, no. That scares me.
When he comes back and he like has new robot arms and like really long legs.
Yeah, right. Oh, yeah, right.
Like Spy Kids 3D.
Ew.
But
I hate that.
With talking about Omega again, and her reaction to hearing about like this eventually is a Rancor, but hearing about like this kind of kid slave, and she does meet this kid slave. How do you think that she emotionally reacts to that? Because I think she kind of has a lot of sympathy, because I think she almost feels like she's also, I don't know about a slave, but she's very kept under control and away from things whenever she's on Kamino.
She has that moment with Hunter where she's like, that's not very nice. And he's like, yeah. He's like, that's not. But he's like, that's the way it is. And it kind of like, I think this show is slowly chipping like Omega's like world fantasy she's built. Obviously, like, she's being like, exposed to this harsh like galaxy and like the worlds that they live in. But like, she's a very naturally and pure person. So I think it's good that like she definitely can understand like and connect with that aspect of like being a slave, because in some aspect she's a test subject, what slave,
Yeah. I really connected with the way she reacted to finding out that there's like these slaves, and she's really dealing with, she's getting thrown into this harsh reality of the galaxy that she's been fantasizing about probably her whole life, and it's kind of not living up to what she thought it was going to be,
Yeah.
There's also some really funny moments with, again, in the beginning when she gets her comm whatever.
Yeah.
It's not a toy, right?
Tweeted this when I started watching the episode, but I was like, my favorite part of the Bad Batch is all of the TikTok fan cams for Omega that follow, because we always get some kind of new Omega footage, and they always add like really cute fan cams, and everyone just loves Omega.
Yeah.
A funny part for me was how when they release Moochie and he starts fighting the Zygerians, how Wrecker just just breaks out of his cuffs. He could have done it the whole time. He just was waiting.
I also love the notion that a Rancor can just absolutely tear up one of those dragon things.
Oh yeah!
I was like,
I love Godzilla versus Kong.
Yeah, I was like, what the heck?
Yeah, that was rad. I was wondering how far they were going to go with that before they were like, "Oh yeah, this is technically a kid's show."
I really hate those cat human guys.
The Zygerians.
Yeah.
That arc in Clone Wars is actually one of my favorites. It's one of my favorite Anakin arcs.
Yeah, I don't know.
They infiltrate the Zygerians.
They give me negative energy. I just don't like them.
No, I've seen cats. I understand.
Yeah, that's how I react to cats too. They also make me sneeze. Maybe Igerians will make me sneeze too if I ever am around one, like Galaxy's Edge. Chilling at the cantina, an Igerian guy next to me.
That's impressive. That's impressive effects. Yeah, they've
allergic.
got costumes made of real cat fur.
Yeah, but are there any other standout moments or anything else you wanted to talk about? Are there any themes that you kind of thought of or picked up on?
So I'm kind of seeing this trend with this episode, how I think the Bad Batch are going to get more involved in the crime world.
Yeah, we're going to get a little more underworld.
So, which kind of leads me to believe that what if they just become a mercenary group? If that's just what the show kind of turns into, is that
and
they
that
just
way
become...
we don't have to have them in the forefront with like the rebellion and the big important battles.
That'd be a really good way to bring back Asajj Ventress, because the last we've seen, she's a bounty hunter on Coruscant, Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot that they kind of have at their fingertips, and I'm excited to see where they're going to take it.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for the big important mission, because we've really gotten we don't really know, because I mean at least right now they're trying to figure out who Fennec Shand is and who she's working for and why they want Omega, but I'm still trying to figure out what their goal is.
I think once they find Rex, I think they're going to run into Rex, and that's what's going to lead them. And whatever happens with Rex...
They're really keeping Rex close to the chest, aren't they, at this point?
Yeah,
Which is weird because we know he's in it.
I think they're trying to throw us off. I think they're essentially... I think what they're going to do is these next probably 2 to 3 to maybe even 4 episodes are going to be them setting up whatever they're going to do for the rest of the show, and which is going to be probably all like crime world stuff.
Yeah.
And then the last whatever, many episodes is going to be like... Rex and Camino and
higher stakes.
It's gonna be like all of the big stuff. Yeah, they're gonna Crosshair's redemption. It's gonna be like everything final is up, and then season 2 will be picking up with whatever their crime stuff was.
Do you think we'll get the Crosshair redemption in this season?
So I think Crosshair might die.
You think so? You think he'll get redeemed then die?
I think he'll redeem and then die, and that's probably gonna happen in the last episode. Just because they've really been focusing on the group that we have right now. If Crosshair was going to come back and stay back, I feel like they would have built up his character a little more.
I mean, they still have 11 episodes to go, so I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility yet.
That is very true. There's a lot that they can do.
We're too used to like something like Mandalorian, where at this point we'd be halfway through the season, but we're not even.
Yeah, that's true.
We're like a fourth through right now, so we still got a lot of this season to go.
I miss animated shows. I'm so glad.
What'd you say?
I said I miss animated shows. I'm so glad I have more Star Wars.
I know. I haven't watched anything new animated since it was releasing since Rebels. Yeah.
I threw on the Great Wookiee Adventure waiting for the Zoom call, and then I didn't even get like a minute in, but I was just like, why not?
Nice. I really love also. The score in all of these episodes are so underrated. and I don't understand why they don't just bring Kevin Kiner on for a lot of the live action stuff.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I saw a TikTok today that was when you had a bad day and you need to jam out to some Star Wars music, and it was the final song from The Mandalorian when Luke takes Grogu.
Oh yeah,
and it's like the Ludwig Göransson one. And I was just like, they really should bring in like. And they brought in like Michael Giacchino for some of them, and I really like Michael Giacchino's work. He does some Pixar movies he did like the Ratatouille and like the Up score, and those are both really really
score
good.
Wasn't my favorite. I like it, but it feels a little. There's something about it that doesn't like
runs the same motif a lot. Like it just kind of plays its theme over
it has
and
the
each song.
And that's like the whole score.
Who did Solo?
I think I do like the Solo one. I think it was.
I'm looking it up.
I can't think of who it was. But with the Rogue One score, I think it kind of misses the mark a little bit. It just because I think it's the first movie we got with no John Williams.
John Powell did Solo.
That's right.
He did How to Train Your Dragon, Rio. Ooh, The Bourne Identity.
Yeah, I do like the Solo score.
Solo's got a good score.
It's very abstract.
Give Ludwig Göransson a movie. I think he would do a really good job.
I bet they will. There's been so many people raving over the Mandalorian score. So
who should do the Rogue Squadron soundtrack? Who should do the Rogue Squadron music?
I know they're not going to give it to Kevin Kiner, but I would love to see him because he captures the essence of Williams.
I think he would actually do a good job with that too.
He captures the essence of Williams.
The guy who does the video game score too is also really good. The Battlefront 2 score is really good.
Yeah.
Get who did Justice League? Who did the Snyder Cut?
It's not Zimmer, is it?
No, it was for the original, the Whedon one, but it's oh god, Snyder Cut.
This is bad radio. Come on, Jackson, hurry.
This is bad radio. Oh, it's Junkie XL. That's it. I had the X in my head. It's Junkie XL. Get Junkie XL. I think he'd do a good job.
So whenever someone like Bo-Katan or someone comes up,
Well, there's I read the Versed Alphabet Squadron book, and one of the characters in it listened to music during their starfights, and I always wondered, like, while listening to it, like while reading it, like, what was the music?
What was the flow?
What was the
Jabba?
Honestly, yeah, that's a vibe, dude. That's what I play, like playing Squadrons.
We didn't talk about this last week, but there was this. I forgot what the species is called. I'm like brain farting right now, but he was just sitting there, vibing in his little speeder, going along. Why can't I think of the species name? It's an Aqualish.
Neat.
Yeah. I don't know why I couldn't think of that. My brain was taking a big old dump in my head.
I'm horrible with species. Me too.
I'm horrible with species. I'm horrible with vehicle names.
Yeah.
And I'm horrible with planet names.
I
know the main player planets.
I know the main players, yeah.
Well, I think we've talked about all we would like to talk about with this episode. Again, it's kind of I can't wait until
mainly action sequences.
I can't wait until we get into some higher stake episodes, which I know we got 16 episodes, so we got a lot more to go. So
right.
But other than that, I think that's about all we got, right?
Yup.
Well, cool. Well, thank you guys for watching / listening. And if you would like to find us on our social medias, we are on Instagram at Through Imperial Eyes Pod and on Twitter, Imperial Eyes Pod. And you can find us on YouTube through Imperial Eyes Podcast. Jackson, where can they find you?
As always, you can find me on Twitter at QuacksandScaleen. That's QUACKSON_Scalene, like the triangle. And then you can follow me on my photography Instagram. That's Deleen_photography, and Deleen spelled DALEEN. Braydon, what about you?
And as always, you can find me on Instagram at braydonleadbetter, or you can find me on Twitter at braydathlon. And everybody, please make sure to leave that rating and review on Apple Podcasts. It really helps out the show. And if you don't have Apple Podcasts, check out Spotify. Give us a follow on all of your podcast streaming platforms, or subscribe on YouTube. I know you're watching on YouTube. Look at me. You see me? Look at Jackson. You see Jackson?
You freaked me out. You were like, look at me.
Look at us on YouTube. All right.
Look at us.
Well, I think we'll see you next week for our new news episode, and we'll also talk about the next episode of Bad Batch on Friday. May the Force be with you. We love you.